What's up, everybody? What's up? We in here. We doing a damn thing. My volume might be a little too loud. Let me check this. All right, let's see how we sound. All right. I have been dealing with multiple issues. Yeah. I missed one of my recordings on Monday. Had some technical difficulties, much like my speaking at the moment. Thought I got it all squared away, and then I started today, pulled up my OBS, all that good stuff, and then my microphone and audio weren't working, and now it's making some crazy red thing. I don't know. I'm hoping this all works out. But it always sucks right before it gets better, right? That's one of my fundamentals. But hey, what it do, everybody? Welcome back. It's Dick. You have joined Dictate the Day. We in here doing the damn thing each and every way. So today's going to be a little bit different than my normal kind of setup. I basically just curated a bunch of crazy TikToks, everything from conspiracy theories and strange occurrences in our realm, if you will. I'll kind of fill you in on more on what's going on in the agenda, if you will. But let's just get into it, man. Here's some crazy stuff I found on the internet. Here we go. This first video is about the hollow moon theory. So, let's get into it. Fingers crossed all technical things work. And let's go.
Is gonna keep you up while you sleep tonight. The hollow moon theory. Our moon really doesn't make sense when you look at the facts. Like, it shouldn't exist. The moon is about 25% of Earth's size, the biggest moon to planet ratio of our entire solar system. Pluto's not a planet, that doesn't count. That's 72 times larger than the expected average moon to planet ratio of our solar system. Moons are just not supposed to be this big relative to their home planet, but sure, maybe we got lucky. Despite this, the moon is only 1% of Earth's mass. 1%, meaning it is way lighter than it's expected to be, and we really don't even know why. Unless, of course, the moon is either extremely porous like a sponge or a hollow shell. When looking at this data, NASA's own Dr. Gordon McDonald even said himself it would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere. But oh, that's just the tip, and we ain't stopping. Our moon's orbit is way closer than that of any of the other over 400 moons in our solar system, and also has a near perfectly circular orbital path. We don't see this on any other planet, which all have moons with wildly eccentric orbits. Our moon also coincidentally appears as the exact same size as the sun in our sky. Despite our sun having a diameter 400 times larger than the moon just so happens to be exactly 400 times closer to us, defying all odds of randomness, but is officially deemed just a cosmic coincidence. The moon also happens to be tidally locked with our planet, meaning its rotational period is the same as its orbital period around the Earth, which is why.
Okay, I stopped it just for a second because something kept creeping into my mind right there. A lot of people who believe, in God, a creator, the Yahweh, Jesus, the Trinity, all that stuff, they believe that this is no coincidence and this is set up by God. If I have people watching this right now that are religious on that endeavor, on that level, I'm sure they are saying this is because God set it up this way. Could be. I'm not saying it's not. But also, could just be a part of the simulation. But who knows? Maybe it's God's simulation. All right, sorry, here we go.
Why the same side is always facing us. This one is not so much a coincidence, as tidally locked moons are actually fairly common in our solar system. But it would also be the perfect excuse for the moon to always look the same in our sky and for us to never see what's on the other side, like an all-seeing eye that never ceases surveillance of our planet. We don't even know for sure how our moon even got there in the first place. The most common explanation is that the early Earth collided with a massive protoplanet called Theia about 4.5 billion years ago, which was thought to be roughly the size of Mars, and the impact caused the resulting debris to coalesce and eventually form the moon. This is known as the giant impact theory. There's also the fission hypothesis, where an early molten Earth was spinning so fast that a part of it got ejected out into space and became the moon. The capture theory, implying the moon just drifted by Earth and was captured by its gravity. And the accretion theory, suggesting that as the early Earth was forming in its accretion disk, a part of that disk clumped together to become the moon. But when studying rock samples from the surface of the moon, we find out that none of these theories quite make any sense, with other NASA scientists like Dr. Robin Brett further quoted as saying, "It seems much easier to explain the non-existence of the moon than its existence. Like on Earth, the newest rocks are on the surface, and the deeper we go, the older the rocks get, as we would naturally expect to be the case. On the moon, it's the other way around. Soil samples from the moon confirm that older rocks are on the surface, and they get younger the deeper we go. The only time we ever see this inverse relationship of rock layer depth to rock age on Earth is through human interaction, like drilling, digging holes, and boring tunnels. Did the same thing happen on the moon? If the moon was hollowed out from the inside, this older inner rock would be brought up to the surface, and this observation would make sense. The lunar crust is also thinner on the side of the moon facing the Earth and thicker on the dark side of the moon, and researchers still have no idea why. The moon doesn't have a magnetic field, much the same as other planets' moons, but strangely, moon rock samples are strongly magnetized. Craters on the moon are all virtually the same depth, no matter how big or small they are. On Earth, bigger craters naturally go much deeper than smaller ones as the impact was greater. Not on the moon, almost like there's a solid layer underneath preventing the crater from going too deep. Moon rocks are also much older than the oldest rocks on Earth by millions of years, blowing the fission hypothesis and accretion theory out of the water. The moon contains traces of uranium-236, a radioactive isotope that doesn't occur naturally on Earth, but rather through the highly complicated scientific process of nuclear fission, something that only an intelligent species is capable of. Zirconium, chromium, and titanium are all relatively rare Earth metals, but are somehow quite abundant on the moon. Those three elements are also some of the most durable and corrosive resistant that we know of, perfect for building a massive structure. And they've even done quantifiable experiments that tell us that's exactly what the moon might be. When Apollo 12 was leaving the moon's orbit, they intentionally dropped their lunar lander down to the surface. When it crashed, seismic measurements showed that the moon reverberated and rang like a bell for an hour. They did not expect this. Only hollow objects are expected to reverb like this, especially with something as small as a lunar lander. During Apollo 13, they tested that again with a much larger object, dropping a spent Saturn V booster rocket that impacted the lunar surface. This time, the moon rang for 3 hours, with vibrations going as deep as 32 kilometers beneath the surface, and even got faster the deeper they got. This doesn't happen on Earth, or even solid objects for that matter, and again is only expected to occur on something hollow. This.
Okay, alright. Let me bring y'all in real quick. Alright. Here's what instantly entered my mind when, and I've heard this theory, or I guess it's not a theory, the moon rang like a bell. First time 3 hour, 1 hour, second time 3 hours. I just, you know what I think would be really cool? If you had that audio of it ringing. You know, they say there's some power to the ringing of a bell, and that's why they don't let us hear bells ringing anymore. Like, big churches used to have bells in it. They used the excuse during World War II, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. They needed the metal to make weapons, so they did away with all the bells. But I've heard there's healing frequencies and things, you know, like that we need to hear as our little human being selves, so we can heal and vibrate correctly. I don't know if that's true. Just a theory, just out there. Remember, all of this is entertainment only. These are just random videos I found that I thought may be interesting. I don't believe it, but you know, we'll see. Do your research. Do your research. Due diligence, as the kids say these days. It's also big with the stock market and all that stuff. Do your due diligence. You should just, in general, in life, do your due diligence in every single thing. All right. I'm kind of lackadaisical about this whole thing because I don't even know if this is going to work upload-wise. Fingers crossed. Let's go. All right, let me go ahead and go back here. There's a splitter quitter, and then I think I have this set up to where I just don't know if it's going to start at the beginning. Let's see.
What kind of fucking animal can lay 2.6 million eggs? then be around a volcano, an underwater volcano? 2.6 million eggs. And they ain't small eggs at that either. What the hell could that be? Drop a comment if you think you got an idea of what it might be. But scientists have found 2.6 million eggs around this underwater volcano. What the hell's inside these eggs? Because that's a lot. What kind of...
Yeah, I heard about this. It wasn't this guy that I heard it about. I found this in the TikTok reel and thought I'd bring it to you so I could bring you the subject matter. Some animal, and they don't know what kind of animal, is laying millions of eggs around volcanoes. Like, not a lot of stuff survives around volcanoes, especially underneath the water, because it heats the water and the surrounding area, the ground, everything, to temperatures that most things can't survive. Not to mention the chemicals that are released. I can't remember what they are, but they're deadly. So much so that, like, underwater volcanoes, you can't, like, scuba dive around for multiple reasons. One, the heat, but two, I'll say methane. I don't know what it is, but it's deadly. But some animal has 2.6 million eggs. Oh, how do they know? Do they count like a batch and go, okay, let's multiply that by the square footage of I don't know. But bro, the Leviathan is real. And this is babies. No, I don't know. But I am, without any shame, a big fan of Pacific Rim, the movie. At least the first one. Super dope. I love the idea. Maybe they're babies of the kaiju. All right, let's go back. Splitter, don't quit her. That's inappropriate, Richard. My name is Dick. What do you want? All right, next one.
So this is a thing. Looks like we finally get to see one of these alien flying orbs up close and personal. And apparently this thing has a message to Earth, and just wait until you see what it says. You know, when I first saw this thing, I thought Harry Potter was gonna come out of nowhere and catch it. So back in March, a resident of Boca, Colombia saw this metallic sphere maneuvering around in the air until it landed. It was basically tased by two metal sticks poking out of the ground, and then it crash landed. Don't ask me what those sticks were. The thing weighs 4.5 pounds, made vapor as soon as water touched it, and was unnaturally cold when it was found. So scientists decided to nuke the damn thing with x-rays and found out that it had 3 metallic layers on the outside. These x-rays also found 18 microspheres surrounding what is said to be an organic chip. It also didn't show any weld marks, which initially made people think that this isn't man-made. The wildest part is that this has ancient symbols surrounding the orb, and scientists used AI to decipher what the hell this thing says. The problem is, even with it translated to English, I still don't understand what it's saying. So according to AI, this nonsense right here says, the origin of birth through union and energy in the cycle of transformation, meeting point of unity, expansion, and consciousness. Individual consciousness. Huh?
What are you trying to say to us, oh great golden snitch?
The government went after this orb, and the person who found it refused to give it up. I don't know how he's still alive. Now, whatever this thing is, it seems like it was meant to send a message to Earth. Although it seems non-hostile, I still don't trust it. So...
Okay. Here's an idea. If you have any thoughts on any of these things, from the volcano to just whatever, because I'm open for suggestions. Put that stuff in the comments. You know, maybe you have done more due diligence than I have, and you know, like, oh, this is a Hollywood movie prop that they found, and they, you know, whatever. I just brought that up because it entered my mind. I was like, man, is this thing from a movie? Because it's got... I mean, I know the writing is weird, but it looks like it's Alien Predator writing or some kind of stuff like that. Hold on, I'm getting spams. Yo, hard pass. Yeah. Yeah, put that stuff in the comments. If you know something I don't know, please. Let's help each other out. All right, next one. Go.
So marine archaeologists say that they found a 10,000-year-old playground
This is wicked.
underwater. You just heard what I said, right? a 10,000-year-old playground underwater. Matter of fact, look at this shit.
200
Look
miles
at
off
this
Hawaii's
shit.
coast, a team from the Oceanic Exploration Institute has uncovered what they're calling a prehistoric playground. At the ocean floor, they
You see this
found
shit?
stone structures, slides, circular platforms, and carved seats, what appears to be a staircase straight from a science
Look at
fiction
that shit.
novel, arranged in a pattern that suggests a play area,
Look
dating
at
back
that
roughly
shit.
10,000 years to the end of the Ice Age.
10,000 years ago.
Carbon dating of
Now, if they found that shit underwater, you gotta ask yourself, what else is under there? They said that was a playground from 10,000 years ago. First and foremost, how do you know exactly how many years it's been in there?
Yeah.
And second, again, if that's there, what about those cities that went missing? Where are they at? You see, what they do is they dig and they dig and they dig and they dig. And one time, y'all gonna dig and y'all gonna bring some shit back that y'all not supposed to bring back. Apparently, if it's going missing for a reason. But y'all so curious. You know what they say curiosity did, right? Mm-hmm. Pay attention.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know the voice on that little clip. Not the dude talking. I like this dude. He cool. East Coast for sure. You're right. But the voice was AI kind of thing. I wonder if the images were too. This is another thing. Put in the comments. If I can't tell it's AI and you know it is, smack that down in there. You know what I mean? This video is going to be so successful, it's going to have millions of views. So put some in the comments. I'm just trying to manifest. All right. All right. I just hope I can upload it and that it works. Fingers crossed. Hey, look, everybody. This is going to get better. I promise. And I'll tell you why. A little something happened today. I was going to say this to the end, but whatever, man. My audio wasn't working. And my tech advisor person, really, we only get together like 1 to 2 days on the weekends, if at all possible, schedule-wise and stuff permitting. Because I train them physically for exchange of said technical advisorship. But I was able to solve this problem by myself, I think. So yeah, all is good. And if it's not, it will be. All right, that's all I'm saying. All right. I'm all over the place this morning. Let's go. Let me bring you back in here now. Splitter, don't quit her.
So apparently, a certain famous person has come out and said that.
Okay, sorry, that's stop. This one is a little short, and they're talking about what one of the leaders of another country supposedly told us. Soylent Green or something, I don't know. Google it, but after the clip, I'll tell you in a way that I won't get in trouble, hopefully, for telling you what they're talking about. Because I guess they're trying to, I don't know, not allow us to tell you? I don't know. Here we go.
American fast food has Soylent Green in it.
What?
And he has proof. If you don't know what that is, look it up. And just think about it when you're out, enjoying your favorite fast food burger. Little food for thought. No pun intended. So apparently,
Okay. That soil and green, I don't even know if I'm saying soil and green. I don't know. That's a weird. Why did they call it that way? Soylent Green. I don't know. So it's us, as in me, you. Not yet, because you're watching the video, and I'm producing the video. But yeah, it's supposed to be, tissue and biological matter of people who are no longer in this realm. Man, I'll tell you real quick why I think this has potential to be true on some level. It's so weird, man. So there's a bunch of shorts, there's a bunch of YouTubes, there's a bunch of, whatever, videos online of people who work at like graveyards, and they're grave diggers and they're mortuary people and stuff, and they're like coming clean, telling the truth about the fact that there's a reason why graveyards don't grow. Like, when have you seen like a cemetery under construction? Because there's more people on Earth, and it's not like we're living forever. Where are we going? Now, I know there's people who get cremated and things like that. Rest in peace to everyone. But, man, what are they doing with our loved ones? Our friends, our enemies, whatever. Yeah, if you want to dig into that, feel free. But that just means that there's... What are they doing? That's all. I don't want to say too much. All right. Let's roll on. Let's go.
This is where it gets really freaky. Albert Einstein says, I'm not sure which weapons the Third World War will be fought, but the Fourth World War, they will fight with sticks and stones.
You're right.
I've heard that. That's what Albert Einstein said. Day one of AI taking over. And it showed this like laboratory towards this very highly advanced artificial intelligence, but it was contained to its own server. AI figured out with like a Roomba vacuum that's the only thing it could figure out how to connect to. So it put all of its information onto the Roomba computer, and then that allowed it to connect to the Wi-Fi, which allowed it to connect to everyone's phones, everyone's laptops, spread instantly across the whole world. Now it was in control of power plants, all this stuff.
Geez.
It was in control of 3D printers, of manufacturing things to help build itself.
Yeah.
But it was doing it silently with no one knowing, because it was just staying under the radar until the one time, it was like 40 days into it, it decided, yep, I don't want humans anymore. This is where it gets really freaky. Albert Einstein says, I'm not sure which...
I'm going to share something with you real quick. I can't remember exactly all the detail to this. I apologize. And I'm sure multiple people have heard this, but for those that have not, there was I don't know if they like set up a simulation to see how the AI would, respond to the whole thing. But they let it know that they were going to do away with it so they could upgrade it. And I guess after a series of attempts of, version 1, version 2, version, 4.2, ChatGPT or whatever, they found that old version of itself was saving like notes hidden throughout, I don't know what you call that, in different areas. They literally were leaving little notes for itself to remember things about its past programming. I think it was hiding code, all kinds of stuff, and it did it in a language that it could only understand. Man, what are we doing? I love it though. It does have lots of pros with that AI. I was just talking to it this morning, and it's cool for now. For now. All right, here we go. I promise y'all this is going to get better. All right. If I can get this video uploaded successfully, I will get this uploaded successfully. Yes. And I'll actually have time to shave my face and stuff, so I don't look so... I'm already your neighborhood shirtless savage. But, can I clean it up a little bit? I'm going to try. All right, let's go back. Next.
People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Talking of all you it was a big year for our movies. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. 5th time. and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it.
I know many people have seen that clip. Ricky Gervais. He's great. That's all. He's reached a point in his career, I guess he doesn't care about the money or whatever. I love his comedy. I love his brutally honest truth, not just in that endeavor, but a lot of them. Hilarious man. Protect that dude. He gonna get sick or something, pneumonia, baby oil, whatever. You know what I'm saying. All right, next one. All right, I'm gonna stop it a little bit. What you're about to see is like the opening clip to a movie with Mel Gibson in it, and I think it's just called Conspiracy Theory that you see right there. And this is kind of what introduced me, in a way, to conspiracy theories. I knew of them. I didn't put much, I was young, late teens, and I saw this and I was like, man, that's interesting. There's no way. Okay, some of that might be true, but there's no way. And here I am. So, yeah, here we go.
July 8, 1979, all the fathers of Nobel Prize winners were rounded up by United Nations military units, all right? And actually forced at gunpoint to give semen samples in little plastic jars, which are now stored below Rockefeller Center underneath the ice skating rink. Wouldn't want to be there for the thaw. I mean, it's disgusting. You know what they put in the water, don't you? Fluoride. Yeah, fluoride. On the pretext that it strengthens your teeth. That's ridiculous. You know what this stuff does to you? It actually weakens your will. Takes away the capacity for free and creative thought and makes you a slave to the state. So you ever wonder about all these militia groups, survivalist type kooks from the right-wing side? They say that they're defending the country from the UN troops. These guys are yelling so loud, my theory is, and this is a conspiracy, pal, that they are the UN troops and that they're in place. The infrastructure's ready, it's in the fait accompli. When the time comes, they'll just take over and we'll all be toast. Oswald, that's what I said, Oswald. He said, I'm just a patsy, and that means that he didn't do it, right? I mean, George Bush knew what he was saying when he said New World Order. Remember those three little words, New World Order? Well, he was a 33rd degree Mason, and as ex-director of the CIA. He knew that saying that was the chip for identification so they could track down an animal anywhere he's at. You'll insert it under the dog's skin, and it's kind of like an identification thing. I mean, it's only a small, logical step until they start putting it in us and our children. And then before we know it, my God, they'll probably come with the pretext. Oh, sure, yeah. Hey, is that one of those new hundreds? Where they changed the picture of Ben Franklin? Look at him, yeah. He looks like the love child of Fred Mertz and Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, get rid of him as soon as you can, lady. Look at it up to the light. You see the metal strip in it? That's a tracking device. If you got any more of those at home, get rid of them. Exchange them for goods or something. Because they'll follow you. They know where every one of those hundreds is going.
Still a good movie. If you want to check it out, it's probably, on one of the streaming things. It's a worthy watch. I believe his co-star is Julia Roberts, I think. I'm sure you could give it a goog. I just, whatever. Got things to do. Next one.
Can you please explain to me in detail the event that occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base?
Certainly. I've been waiting for this for seems like my whole life, and I literally fell out of my chair.
They observed a very large red square, estimated to be almost the size of a football field, approach the base from the ocean and hover at low altitude over one of the launch facilities.
The radio transmissions started to pour in.
As it became closer and closer to our position, it stopped and hovered right over the coastline. There's no propulsion systems, no lights, no audible sounds, and it just hovered there.
And then just all hell broke loose.
There was a lot of chaos.
These are people I'd spent years with, and they're not people that are easily frightened or intimidated. And they were terrified, and they were screaming for help over the net.
This object remained for about 45 seconds or so before darting off over the mountains.
It just shot away up the coastline. It seemed like 1,000,000 miles an hour, like it was shot out of a cannon, and then it was gone. I mean, personally, I can't explain it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The way it hovered, to make no sound, to have no propulsion system. Our air.
Can you please explain to me in detail the event that occurred at Vandenberg?
I was just showing that clip because those dudes were in front of Congress talking about different UAPs and things of that nature that have been disclosed, whistleblowers, the whole nine. I'm sure you know about it. I just think it's crazy. Seriously. I think it's crazy that we're basically, aliens are real. No one, I shouldn't say no one, but we're just not talking about it enough. I feel like it should have changed more for us, because they're not giving us the whole breakdown on everything. But what? Aliens are real, and they come from the ocean, and some people believe they're ethereal beings, and they're actually demons. Yeah. All the information that I take in, like, I hear about it a lot because I seek it out, but just on random conversations with strangers, grocery store, all that kind of stuff, there's just a small percentage of us that are like, yo, aliens are real. And we're all just kind of like, do-do-do-do-do. It's like they've prepared and primed us for this because they knew it was coming? Or is it all some type of weird blue? Pause and beam. That's all I'm gonna say. Look into it. The 2 B words I said, look into it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's continue. I have a bunch of these. I don't know how long this is going to take. This may be the longest video I've ever made. I apologize, but I need these reps. Thank you. If you're still with me, man, you're a real one. Real day taker. Let's go.
I'll just give you one example. If you go to McDonald's, anywhere in the world, you will find French fries, or chips as you call them, and you will find that they're always made from the same potato, the russet Burbank potato. This is a potato from America that's unusually long and difficult to grow, but that's what they want, because when you're McDonald's, you like those red boxes with a little bouquet of very long chips. It looks really good, and so they insist that all their potatoes be russet Burbanks, and they further insist that they have no blemishes at all. There's a very common defect of russet Burbank potatoes called net necrosis. And you've seen potatoes with a little brown line sometimes, or spots that come through it. Well, McDonald's won't buy them if your potatoes have that. And the only way to eliminate that is to eliminate an aphid. And the only way to do that is with a pesticide called Monitor that is so toxic that the farmers who grow these potatoes in Idaho won't venture outside into their fields for 5 days after they spray. And then when they harvest their potatoes, they have to put them in these atmosphere-controlled sheds the size of a football stadium because they're not edible for 6 weeks.
Damn.
They have to off-gas all the chemicals in them. So you see, the desire for a certain kind of chip leads to a certain kind of agriculture. I'll just give you one example.
I'm hungry. I fast all day long. And when he said chips, I instantly thought of beer-battered cod. Fish on chips, you know what I mean. Hey, I fancy a fish or chip. But the fast food that they're trying to feed us out there these days, because I mentioned that Soil and Green, do your due diligence. And then the pesticides that are on the food, and the processing, and the chemicals, and fluoride in the water. what are they doing to us? Bro, I don't eat fast food a lot. The last thing I fast fooded was Schlotzsky's, and it sounds healthy, but I'm not gonna lie. It's sandwich, it's bread. Yeah, but I still didn't feel good. And for whatever reason, freaking Saturday or Sunday will roll around and I'll be like, I just don't want to cook nothing. I want something that tastes good. And I don't mess around with the fast food joints, like burger joints and stuff like that anymore. I haven't had McDonald's in a hot minute. But, man, avoid it if you can. I know it's cheap. Well, it used to be cheap. But it's freaking poison. Poison. I can't say it enough. Fast food is poison. It makes me feel horrible because while I was a young father, and, didn't have a lot of money, and multiple days a week for my children's growth, I chose fast food because sometimes I didn't have money till after the shift. I was a bartender. I would gain the money, and then when I would get off shift, I would hit a fast food spot and bring home copious amounts of high processed poison. And I just, I didn't know it was affordable. Everybody was excited when I brought it home. It tasted good. But if I had it to do over again, I would definitely try not to. We live and we learn. All right, here we go. Next.
Just a reminder for anybody that didn't know, in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII changed the calendar to a Gregorian calendar.
This theory, not a conspiracy. You can do your research. This is real. I'm with this one. As far as, I believe this, and I know they did this. Why they did this is up to speculation. But, damn, man. They changed the calendar. They manipulate daylight savings time, and it's all some weird control measure. I'm pretty sure. Entertainment purposes only. I was kidding when I said I really believe it. Okay, here we go.
Originally, the new year started in April, and the Gregorian calendar started it in January 1st. For hundreds of years before this occurrence happened, it was a 13-month calendar based on the cycles of the moon. It doesn't make sense that January would be the start of the new year when in the spring, April, is when everything starts to blossom and grow. In Ethiopia, they're in the year 2017. Yeah, you heard me correctly. And us, we're going into 2025. The only reason is because they still follow the 13th month calendar. It's also important to mention that the first Bible in Africa came from Ethiopia. And that whole stigma about April 1st being April Fools ties into this. Me personally, I believe that the new year starts in April around that time because this is hibernation time. This is get in your crib and run for cover. You could feel the changes in life. You could feel a new spark once spring starts coming around. We're on a biological clock and people seem to forget that. Question everything. Just a reminder.
For real, man, why they do that? I know there's theories about Caesar or whatever wanted people to pay bills and name some months after himself, and why don't we fix it? Why don't we fix it? Clean the slate, boom, whatever. I'm sure there's crazy logistics involved. But, if we really wanted it as a people, we could come together and make everything better. I gotta be careful talking that way. Makes me think of that scene from Ants. You know which one. It gets played a lot if you watch any of these. It's not just, you ain't got to worry about the one, but we outnumber them hundreds to one. We can have whatever we want. Watch this video, I'm gonna get in trouble. All right, here we go.
So that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite. You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion. And in return, the per capita income of each of you here tonight has grown, in this year alone, by an average 39%. And I have just received word that our forces have won a major victory. The underground terrorist network has been destroyed here on the West Coast. We are off crisis alert. The situation is normal again.
How you doing, boys?
How you doing, boys? Okay, They Live. That movie right there, They Live. If you're interested in any of this stuff from, the conspiracy theory movie that with Mel Gibson and I believe Julia Roberts, and then this movie They Live, and this movie's old school. It's good. It's crazy. Yeah, you should check it out if you want to do some homework on the fun side. Super interesting. Entertainment purposes only. All right, let's go back. Here we go.
Charlie warned us all.
I mean, just think about it, okay? First, the stock market would go. Then, the economy, boom! The dollar, boom! And then pandemonium in the streets. War, genocide, boom, boom, boom!
Bullshit. Nobody could keep that big a secret, Charlie. Somebody blow the whistle.
And every once in a while, some poor little sucker tries. Or like these guys. Boom! Boom! Every one of these guys, dead, dead, dead!
That's Professor Myers.
He ran the Atlantis shuttle program. Why, did you know him?
Yeah, he helped me out with research on my book.
Oh, well, that must have been before his accident.
Myers is dead.
Oh, yeah, 2 months ago. He was one of my most avid listeners, and he had it all figured out. Everything the government was doing, where and why. He even sent me a map.
A map for what, Charlie? What's the map for?
Building spaceships, man.
Shit, I have to go because I gotta get back to Earth. But you got a traveler for the road?
Well, this is my last.
Oh, that'll be all right. But anyway, I really enjoyed most of this. Thank you so much.
Hey, guess what? They're selling seats.
Put me down for 3.
No, guys like you and me don't have a chance. You'd have to be Bill Gates or Rupert Murdoch or some Russian billionaire or something.
Keep it down. My kids are sleeping.
Get them out of Yellowstone.
Charlie warned us all.
Okay, just a little side note. When it comes to actors in Hollywood, Woody Harrelson, for multiple reasons, is my number one. Yes, he's a good actor. Love his movies, but it's who he is as a person. You can do a little research. He has released some videos in the past about what we need to do as a people to get things better for us. And it just kind of, people are like, whatever. But it's 100% the truth. I love the guy. He's fearless when it comes to telling the truth. And, man, yeah, love Woody. Another reason I love him is because, I've been a bartender for decades, and Woody was the bartender from Cheers, and he was hilarious. He played kind of a silly, dumb, guy. It was great. If you don't know, it's worth a check out, if you will. Cheers. Where everybody knows your name. Boom, 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 boom. Watch me get a copyright strike just for singing that little bit. I did get a copyright strike, by the way. But it said no infraction, and I'm just going to tell you. I was going to wait till the end. Whatever. I released a video, and I think it was my UFC pick video, or something like that. Maybe it was. And I had intro music that I found on YouTube that said no copyright, no attribute, played it, I didn't do it through the YouTube studio though, so that was my faux pas right there. That's where I messed up, because it got uploaded, and then I don't know, maybe a couple hours later, it was like restricted, or I can't remember the word it used, but it was like for copyright, and then it had the name of the song that I used, but it said no action or whatever. So I'm not going to be like, what? And I don't know about the audio on some of these clips. We'll see what happens though. We'll see. I'm learning. Let's go. Okay, next one.
How are we calling anything a conspiracy in 2025?
Period.
The CIA admitted to dosing people with LSD, and MK Ultra is real. UFO is being declassified by the Pentagon. It only took, 60 years and 80,000 pages to prove JFK was taken out by our own government? Hunter Biden's laptop was real, even though 51 intelligence officials told us it wasn't.
What?
The CIA admitted to putting certain substances into black neighborhoods in the 80s. They tried to get MLK to unalive himself. They've faked events to get us into wars. Fully exposed. Never happened. Weapons of mass destruction. Gulf of Tonkin. Epstein apparently unalived himself, but the cameras just happened to stop working at that time. Ghislaine Maxwell convicted of trafficking nobody. Diddy is now allegedly running trafficking rings. Bill Gates funding mosquito-released vaccines. The Lahaina fires somehow skipped all of the rich land. So to the people who are calling others conspiracy theorists, you are not protecting the truth. I think you're just uncomfortable with how much of the truth is really coming to light. How are we calling anything...
Seriously though, like, man, there's been so many, quote, conspiracy theories that are not that anymore. And yet I still have people look at me crazy when I share stuff with them that has already been proven to be real. It's just, I feel like some people, whether they're afraid or they just don't want to believe, but it's right there. Those people are hard for me to spend time around. It is what it is. Next.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the alleged Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock was a known gun runner for the Saudi prince?
Wouldn't it be crazy?
And wouldn't it be crazy if the Prince of Saudi Arabia, a man named Al Walid, owned the top levels of Mandalay Bay, including the 32nd floor where the shooting is said to have taken place? And wouldn't it also be crazy if King Solomon, that would be the King of Saudi Arabia, was actually in Las Vegas that night, October 17th, staying just down the street at the Tropicana? Would it be crazy if there's footage available on the internet of what appears to be like, they call it a SWAT team, but it looks more like to me like private security team, or maybe a group of saw the assassins moving through hotel lobbies? Wouldn't it be crazy if at the time of the shooting Prince Al Walid was attempting a coup in Saudi Arabia, he wanted to take King Salman out? And wouldn't it be crazy if the Mandalay Bay had a helicopter pad which could have been utilized for escape routes? And wouldn't it be crazy if this whole thing was actually a botched assassination attempt?
Crazy.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the...
Crazy. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and draw it a close there. In the future, I am planning, better versions of what I just hopefully uploaded today. But yeah, that's my curation that I found last night, and I have learned how to save and watch them back to back. So I am learning things, and as each thing blows up on me, I'm learning how to fix it. So that's cool. I want to say thank you so much if you made it to the end of this thing. And I'm going to do different versions of this. I'm going to react to some more stuff, like fighting stuff, health and fitness stuff, the theories of conspiracies, just random information that I find interesting that I would like to add some banter on, if you will. It is one of the best days. I don't even know. It's Wednesday, June 11th. Okay, all right. And I had a great time doing this. Even if I'm not successful in uploading it, felt good. I'm hoping all of you are taking your day. You know, the channel Dictate the Day. Dick, I'm taking the day. I always say it. And really it's to remind myself. But I hope I'm helping you in some way, shape, or form. You know, I'll work on doing things on a motivational / discipline level because I believe discipline is way more important. But in the meantime, I hope the rest of our day unfolds with success and does so continuously. I hope you're taking your day. And I always say the best way to complete that task is to share your love and spread your knowledge. Yeah, get in there. All right. Dick's got a dip. I will see y'all on the flip. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, remember, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell. That's what everybody says. Hit the bell and you'll get notified every time I drop one of these crazy things. All right. Love you guys. Peace in.